Hey, y'all, listen. What's today? Saturday. I had to look up at my computer. Happy Saturday, y'all. I told you I wasn't coming through last night because I went to a concert. I went to the Joe. For all of y'all that know Joe, Case, John B. I went to that concert last night in Elizabeth, New Jersey, and I had a ball. I mean, it was Joe gave a really, really good show. John B was really good too. Case was Case. But if I had to say, Joe was the headliner, and he was worth every dime we spent on our ticket. Worth every single dime. He had a live band. He really gave a show. I enjoyed it. So I had a good time in the streets last night. Okay, Diva was in the streets. Okay, so here I am today doing trending topics. Y'all know how we do. We got stuff to talk about, right? And the title is called "They Deserve Better." They deserve better. I saw this story where the mom, a pregnant young lady out in Dallas, I'm going to say Dallas, Texas, she went to the ER because she, was in labor, okay? And, the intake nurses, if you ever have to go to the emergency room, right? Even now in the doctor's office, don't nobody want to hear nothing you got to say until they be like, can I get your ID, your insurance, and your copay if you have one? It's deplorable. It's like you could be half dead, bleeding out the side of your neck, and they want to know about your copay, your insurance, and all this other stuff, and all this whatever. And I get it. They need to know some things. But I feel like help a sister out when I'm in dire straight pain, get the basic information, get me out of my pain, and then get the rest of the information when you can. Now, I didn't tell y'all. I'm gonna start. I had said to myself, I'm gonna start doing better with my members only. And I didn't tell y'all, but I was going through my own medical situation, and I stayed on live every single night in pain. Okay, while I was going through my situation. I think it's been 3 weeks now. I had my gallbladder removed. And before that, I was going through the most. I probably was in the ER about a good 6 times. And I don't care. Do I want to approach it this way? Let me see. I do feel when you look like the diva, when you black, they treat you differently. I just feel that way. And I say that to connect with this pregnant mom's story. Whether you falling out in pain or you handling the pain well, you still get judged. I got sent home several times, and I told them, no, for real, I'm in really bad pain. Just because I'm not here, the tears ain't rolling down my face, I'm not falling out on the ground, I'm in pain. To God be the glory, he kept me. I had my procedure. I feel much better now. But this young lady was sitting in the wheelchair in obvious pain. 12 minutes after the whole debacle that y'all about to see, she ended up having a baby. These hospitals have got to do better with the way they treat people. When I went to nursing school, they said pain is what the patient says it is, not what you think it is. If you go in the room, that's why they have scales. And for the kids, that's why they have smiley faces all the way to a sad face. They ask the patient, on a scale of 1 to 10, what is your pain? If the patient says 10, you shouldn't still be sitting there talking about when the last time you had surgery, what's this, what's that. Help somebody address this pain. My sister was in the hospital. And we went there. Me and my other sister went there. We went there. By the time I got there, they said she was in pain for a minute. I had to speak to like 5 different people. I'm like, what we doing here? The doctor busy. I understand the doctor may be busy, but so is your emergency room. And maybe y'all need to call some more doctors up in the building. Healthcare sucks. Not all the time, not everywhere. Nothing is all and everybody. But we have got to do better. Because when I looked at this story with this pregnant mom, I thought about, what is her name? She was a judge on the TV. Tara, much love, girlfriend. I appreciate you. Thank you for supporting the Diva and the channel financially. It's always appreciated. Thank you so much for your super chat. But I forgot the judge's name right now off the top of my head. But her son, so her daughter-in-law, after giving birth to their second child, she lost her life because the hospital staff ignored all the signs that she was in distress after giving birth. We're going to talk about it. Then they deserve better. Let me just say this, because this connects to both of these last two stories. When you get signs that a man don't want you, don't hang on for dear life. Don't hang on for dear life. When you see or hear that people are unstable, you run from them people and you never look back. His mother, her life was taken by the ex. This man hid in her hallway for 2 whole hours, waiting for her to come home, and then he stabbed her about 28 times. She didn't survive. As he was stabbing her, she was begging for her life. I don't even know. What can you say about that? All I can say to y'all is, when you meet somebody and it's clear and obvious that they don't like you, do the best you can to remove yourself from that situation and get them out of your life. I mean, I don't know what else she could have done. This man hid for 2 hours. You are sick and psychotic. When you going to lay low for 2 hours, it's very sad. Lost her life. She leaving behind 4 children. And listen, hands down, this man needs to spend the rest of his life behind bars, period. Thank you, Nadine. Judge Hatcher, her daughter-in-law, died. They ignored the signs. She was bleeding out blood in her catheter. In the urinal bag they had, it was straight up blood. By the time they took her to the OR, she was done. She didn't stand a chance. I'm telling you, it's crazy. And then this last story, the young man, the girl got pregnant. He told her, don't have the baby. She had the baby anyway. He was involved in the baby's life, 2 months old, and he killed the baby. I guess my only thing for suggesting for this to the ladies out there, if you get pregnant and this man looks you in the face and tells you don't have the baby, disassociate yourself from him for the rest of your life. Block his number. Don't call him. Move to another state if you have to, if you're going to have said baby. Because 9 times out of 10, if this man told you don't have the baby, ain't nothing good going to come after that if you do have your baby. So the only way you're going to save self and the baby is to disassociate and disconnect from that person. And I think the courts, you know what? So many of these men don't care where they drop their seed, how they drop their seed, what they say to somebody that they impregnate. You want to know why? Because for a lot of these men, there are no consequences to their actions when they leave somebody pregnant behind. It's zero. You got to go to court, fight for child support. It should be no fights. You left your seed in me. I had your baby. You don't want to be with me no more. Fine. I should file the paperwork and the judge should just say, boom, this is the child support, pay her. That's it and that's all. It shouldn't be a fight back and forth. Because just like I'm responsible as the mom, you need to be responsible as the dad. These men, and if there was higher consequences, maybe these men will start to use more protection, or maybe they will stop just laying down with everybody and doing whatever. It's ridiculous. You killed a 2-month-old. You're sick. And that's another one. Rot in the jail. And you know what? Y'all know I'm not one to be harsh with the jail, because I say your punishment is jail. But people in that situation, not only should they rot in the jail, they should only be able to come out their cell once a day to wash, push the food in there and everything else. You took somebody's life, so now you're going to stay in that cell 24/7. You come out the shower and that's it. Let me go ahead, people. Y'all know what I need in the chat. Saturday night, y'all. Yes, a woman has to be careful who they give their body to as well. You do. You do. We need to talk about that more. And I get it. I understand. Listen, I get you feeling lonely. I get you want to share your life with somebody, but you want to share your life with a potential killer? You want to share your life with somebody that don't care about you? You want to share your life with somebody that's going to drop their seed in you, and then the minute you get pregnant, they're going to tell you what to do with your body, how to do it, and how they're not going to help you if you do decide to have that child? You rather that, or you rather choose loneliness? I'll choose loneliness. Listen. Anyway, people, y'all know what I need in the chat. I appreciate you. In my opinion, I need a what? I need a choo-choo. Hold aboard, everybody. It is Saturday night trending topics, and we got stuff to talk about. The title is called They Deserve Better. Got the pregnant mom. Obvious pain. Her mother brought her there. And apparently in Dallas, this hospital is known for neglecting the people. We're going to talk about it. We got a mother life taken by an ex, and we got the baby life taken by the dad. Let me bring the people on in the building. Hey, my opinion.
Hey, Diva, choo-choo.
Thank you. Hey, Julie.
Hey, y'all. Hit the like button for the Diva. We pulling out. Choo-choo, beep, beep.
Thank you. We pulling out. This train pulling out the building, okay? Listen, guys, thank y'all for being here and spending time with me on this Saturday night. Let's go ahead and share. You know what? I got to pull back up the video with that mom, so I'll share that one afterwards. But first, let's go ahead and get into this one with this father, because I got all of those up and queued up already. Let's do this.
Police say a man is facing murder charges in the death of his 2-month-old son earlier this year. Our Marissa Perlman live outside the Cook County Courthouse. And Marissa, prosecutors say the baby's father says that a demon made him do it. That's a quote.
That's right, Marie. We are now learning intimate details about this child's final moments as well. Prosecutors say baby Kaysen had likely been dead for hours before he was returned to his mother. Kayla Flowers outside court in the arms of her twin sister Caitlin, minutes after her child's father, 23-year-old Anthony Evans, appeared before a Cook County judge, charged with murder in the death of their infant son, Kaysen. Family wearing a button with the photo of the 12-week-old child.
To try to, comfort her the best way we can as a family.
According to prosecutors, Evans was caring for the 2-month-old boy in late April, but when he dropped the baby back off, Prosecutors say he told Kayla the baby, who was covered in a stroller, had been sleeping for a long time. Not to disturb his sleep, she waited until she got home to check on her son, but Kaysen wasn't breathing. The baby was rushed to the hospital, but doctors couldn't save him. Prosecutors say an autopsy later found the baby suffered multiple injuries consistent with child abuse, including a brain bleed and blunt force trauma.
This hurt, like losing my 2-month-old son.
Prosecutors say Evans wanted Kayla to get an abortion when he found out she was pregnant last year.
I was like in shock when I found out I was pregnant, 7 weeks pregnant with him. I was happy.
Court records from February, just days after Kaysen's birth, show Evans allegedly punched Kayla in the stomach, sending her to the hospital. Family says Evans' arrest, made just days ago, is thanks to their church community, who made noise when something wasn't right, and good police work coming together.
It's been a long process. It's been long for Kayla and for the Flowers family.
For them, it starts the process of healing, but this family vows to never forget the little boy behind it all.
My son was a loving person, caring. I took my son everywhere I go. It's so like heartbreaking.
Now, a judge has granted prosecutors' request to detain Evans without bail. He'll be back in court in early December. We're live at 26 in Cal. I'm Marissa Perlman, CBS News Chicago. Marie, back to you.
Marissa, thank you.
Super sad. Hold on one second, guys. I have a little bit more I can add to the story. So, a Chicago father charged with the murder of 2-month-old Kaysen Flowers. A Chicago man has been charged with murder in the death of his 2-month-old son in April. Anthony Evans, 23, has been charged with 1 count of first-degree murder in the death of his son, Kaysen Flowers. At his first court appearance on Thursday, Cook County prosecutor says Evans claimed a demon made him do it. Prosecutors said Kaysen likely had been dead for several hours before being returned to his mother. Kaysen's mother, Kayla, and her family attended Evans' detention hearing on Thursday, wearing buttons bearing Kaysen's picture, as a judge ordered Evans held at Cook County Jail while he awaits trial. Her twin sister, Caitlin, embraced the sobbing Kayla outside the courtroom after the hearing. "I tried to comfort her the best way we can as a family," Caitlin said. According to prosecutors, Evans was caring for Kaysen in April. Kayla thought the baby was simply spending time with his dad. But when Evans dropped Kaysen back off to her, he told her the baby had been sleeping for a long time. When Kayla got home and checked on her son, Kaysen wasn't breathing. The baby was rushed to the hospital, but doctors couldn't save him. Prosecutors said an autopsy later found the baby suffered multiple injuries consistent with child abuse, including a brain bleed and blunt front trauma. "This hurts, losing my 2-month-old son," Kayla said on Thursday. Prosecutor says Evans wanted Kayla to get an abortion when he found out she was pregnant last year. "I was in shock when I found I was pregnant, 7 weeks pregnant with him. I was happy," she said. Court records show in February, just days after Kaysen's birth, Evans allegedly punched Kayla in the stomach, sending her to the hospital. Kaysen's family said Evans' arrest on Monday was thanks to their church community, who made noise when something wasn't right, and good police work coming together. "It's been a long process. It's been long for Kayla and the Flowers family," said Joe, pastor of Roseland Christian Ministry. Evans is due back in court in December. For Kaysen's family, Evans' arrest starts the process of healing, but they vowed to never forget the little boy behind it all. "My son was a loving person, caring. I took my son everywhere I go. It's just like heartbreaking," said Kayla. My heart breaks for her. It is heartbreaking. In my opinion, your thoughts?
It is a sad story. It's sad for so many different reasons. Because first of all, this shouldn't have happened. If he was already beating on her,
Mm.
what did she think he was gonna do to this baby?
Yeah.
If he wanted you to have an abortion, why would you take your baby to somebody like that? We have to be careful who we put our children's lives in hands.
Mhm.
It wasn't a demon that made him do this. He is actually the demon that did this because he has no justice in his heart. He has no love in his heart. And I wouldn't have left my baby with somebody who told me to have an abortion and who didn't respect me enough not to put their hands on me. I do think this is a sad situation. And pray that they feel some kind of peace. But I hope she learns something from this too.
I appreciate you. Katrina, your thoughts?
Hey Diva, hey panel, hey Cat. I yeah, this is sad unbelief. I'll tell a lot of people, an unwanted pregnancy is an unwanted child. Um, it's so sad. All these babies leaving this world. I mean, these are babies. They're not even half of them, not even making to the age of 3. And I don't know what our future is gonna hold. If we don't get a hold on to this thing, whatever is going on around in these people's minds or whatsoever that needs psychological help, we're gonna have a lot more of this. And because I didn't want to have one, so you're gonna make me be without my child anyway. This is sick. I this is sick on so many levels. I mean, I don't understand how these people can just do this to kids, to anybody, as a matter of fact. But to a baby who's defenseless, can't even fight against himself, you is a coward to the worst. This is sick. I don't even know why they're having a trial for him. I just don't get it. He don't need to be seeing no TV. He don't need to be seeing no other people. Like you said, Diva, he need to be in that cell 24/7. Maybe let him out the shower if he deserved that. This is sick. I can't take these people no more. I just can't take them. That's all I got.
Thank you. Julius, your thoughts?
Can everybody hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I just had to go in and out twice. Um, it's something. It to me. I'm gonna be very brief. I'm trying to keep my thoughts together. Um, a demonic spirit is going on with these parents. Um, my heart breaks for the mother. However, she should have remembered when he asked her to get an abortion, and she should have just had him sign his rights over.
Mm.
Because I'm not gonna hold her accountable because she
Mm-hmm.
thought he was going to change,
Mm-hmm.
and she is in a whole lot of pain right now. But he had a demonic spirit to do something to that baby.
Yeah. Thank you, Julius. Savannah, your thoughts?
Diva, I don't know if we need to start investing in parenting classes, especially for young parents who are going to become overwhelmed when it comes to the nurturing care of an infant. I don't know what the answer is, but these stories are getting more and more frequent now. This baby was barely 2 months old, and uh, according to the autopsy, there was already bruises and other things on this child. So he the I can only assume that he's been striking on this child for quite some time. His child, not somebody else's child, but this was your child, your seed. And for this young lady to be carrying and caring for that baby for 9 months, giving birth, going through all the changes that happens to a woman when you give birth, and overwhelmed just to lose her her angel that's been growing inside of her and that she brought into this world just a few weeks later. I mean,
Mm.
that can only be devastating. But I agree completely with, in my opinion, she knew what type of monster he was because he was no good for her. So if he's no good for you, you should never had allowed him access to your baby, to the baby, because this person was not going to change. It's just it is absolutely terrifying. Uh, I hope that whatever his sentence is, it's long, and that he does incur a little bit of jail justice, because this is unforgivable when you do this to a child. It's and then for him to bring the baby to the mother
Mm,
already deceased. Can you imagine that?
mm,
It's just heartless, absolutely heartless that this person is. And I pray that she finds peace, but she definitely needs to um take a little bit of accountability and do some soul searching, because you have to make better choices of who you let around your babies, but also around you, who my heart breaks for them. That's all I can say. And this is just absolutely, it's bad. It's so sick. I'm so sorry that this happened. I don't know. I watch a lot of law and crime, and there's a lot of stories like these that are happening lately. And there is a study that ever since we've come back from the pandemic, the number of infant homicide has increased, and they're trying to figure out what the study, where's the why, what's the data showing. But it is absolutely disheartening. I don't know if classes are needed when babies are born to new parents, young parents, but
mhm.
something has to be done.
It's very sad, very sad. To give her a little leeway, she's young. She's young. We have adults, I think she's early 20s. We have adults who don't know how to navigate their way away from toxic men. Um, because they said, he punched her and sent her to the hospital after she had the baby. So clearly, this man was just not a good person. But I think she just, was trying to give him, I guess, the benefit of the doubt. I don't know. But truly, he should have never even had this baby in his hands, without her being around. And to bring the baby back to her already dead is diabolical. It's sickening on a whole nother level. I'm praying for her because you can tell she wanted and loved her baby. Very, very sad. So let me just go ahead and roll into this next story. And this is the mother who unfortunately, the ex, took her life. I think this is it right here.
Echoing through a tribute tonight in Harlem for a mom of four who was murdered in her own apartment building. Her ex-boyfriend now in custody for the crime, and her loved ones are trying to raise awareness of the impact of domestic violence. Eyewitness News reporter Sonia Rincon with the story from their vigil earlier tonight.
This is for our beautiful angel. We remember her because her light now is in every single one of us. Her light is in her four children.
Light from candles illuminated the cold night in memory of Carmen Yadira Lopez outside her apartment building. Her family members, emotionally crushed, took comfort in a vigil meant to give them strength as they say goodbye to the beloved mom of four boys and shed light on domestic violence.
When no means no, it means no.
No. No means no.
But justice for my sister, that's all I want.
Lopez was attacked in the hallway of this building. Her ex, Luis Marquez, is charged with murder, accused of waiting more than 2 hours here for her to get home Monday morning and stabbing her more than 20 times as she pleaded for him to stop.
No se merecía eso.
Her aunt says she didn't deserve to die that way.
Porque si nosotros habíamos sabido,
And she says if they had only known anything about her accused killer, they would have done everything to protect her. To know her is to love her. Friend Arlie Ureña says justice would mean life behind bars for Marquez. She remembers seeing him once at a club trying to get Lopez's attention.
The way he was looking at her in the club, it was like giving like, oh, like, you're my girl, like, come here, come here. And she was like, no, you know?
She never seemed worried about
No, because she was a happy person.
We want to expose domestic violence for what it is. It's a crime. Let's talk about it, ladies.
Sonia Rincon, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
The Harlem-based domestic violence awareness organization WARM, which is an acronym for We All Really Matter, helping to cover Lopez's funeral expenses. They say anyone who may be in fear for their own safety with a partner can contact their crisis hotline. We posted a link for the organization at ABC7NY.
Super sad. Let me share the screen again. Waited for 2 hours. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate y'all. See you out there, Juice, to Dad. Thank you, everyone. Let me just share the screen again. So, Harlem woman stabbed to death in a hallway, ambushed by jealous ex-boyfriend, is ID'd as a mother of 4. So, a Harlem woman ruthlessly stabbed dozens of times and left to die in a vicious ambush by her ex-boyfriend, which was officially identified by police Tuesday as a mother of 4. Carmen Lopez, 47, was knifed about 50 times, leaving her within inches of her life around 4 a.m. Monday near the elevator on the 3rd floor of her rental building on West 129th Street near St. Nicholas Terrace, cops and sources said. Her alleged assailant was her on-again, off-again beau, who may have been fueled by jealousy, the sources said. The two were not together at the time of the slaying, the sources say. Building porter LaRon Middleton happened to be cleaning the staircase when he stumbled upon Lopez covered in blood and called 911, he said. Lopez was rushed to Mount Sinai Morningside Hospital, where she succumbed to her grave injuries, cops said. Surveillance footage, which Middleton couldn't bear to watch but only listened to audio, captured the moment the attacker ambushed Lopez after apparently waiting on the steps for 2 hours, sources in the porter said. She was yelling out someone's name as it was happening, Middleton said of the footage. They say, Lewis, stop. Lewis, stop. The alleged killer was taken into custody hours later and was brought to Lincoln Medical Center for a 24-hour psychiatric hold, according to the sources. He was back at the 26th precinct, awaiting charges Tuesday afternoon, the sources said. A building superintendent told reporters Monday that the victim had 4 kids, 2 who live with her, and 2 are older and live in New Jersey. I don't know how this happened because they are not a problem person, any one of them. They are nice people, like our family, the worker said. Super sad, unbelievable. In my opinion, your thoughts?
This is super sad. That somebody will wait 2 hours to unalive you. With our system now finna drop the DV, I really hope that we don't see an uprise in these kind of cases. It is very sad, but we have to be careful of whom we're talking to, whom we're letting in our lives, and whom we're trusting to know where we stay. In these times, it is better to be safe than sorry, to be more cautious than free. With them not taking us serious, we have to take ourselves more serious. Protect yourself at all costs and protect your peace, because these monsters are free and ready to take your life at any second. So be very cautious when you're talking to somebody and letting them in your space and even letting them know where you stay.
Good advice. Katrina, your thoughts?
Well, in my opinion, said it all. Yeah, watch your surroundings. Watch your surroundings. All energy are not good energy. Sometimes your energy attract what you are, but then again, sometimes you get mixed up in the mix. You just have to be vigilant and watch people I mean, because people will give you signs. You just got to look for them. And, me being like an easygoing person, I can see things, more clearly if I'm sitting up and talking to you or whatsoever. But a lot of people can't.
Mhm.
And only thing about it is people just pay attention to your surroundings. And everybody that pretend like they're happy for you, they might not even be happy for you. They're just to pretend. So just watch yourself, watch your circle, just watch yourself, people. Just watch yourself and protect yourself and stay prayed up. That's all I got, Diva.
Thank you. Julius, your thoughts?
Whew. I swear, between the parents unaliving their children and the partners unaliving their ex romantic partners, I don't get it with this. The person waited 2 hours, the article said.
Mm-hmm.
Two shows intent. He didn't need to go for a psych watch. I'm sorry. That's just holding his hand. He waited 2 hours for this lady to show her face, to ambush her,
Mm.
to unalive her, to take her from her 4 kids. All because, from what I'm understanding, from his actions, she did not want to be with him. She wanted to move on. And he didn't know how to take rejection. Well, boo hoo, cry me a river. And now I hope he gets sent under the jail because he made her 4 kids motherless.
Mm.
And that is a lifelong pain that would not go away. It will not heal. And he needs to hope and pray that she is trying from the other side now to show her kids to guide in the way of the guiding light and not in the way of vengeance.
Thank you. Savannah, your thoughts?
I'm was trying to see if I found some more on the story. Like, did she have a PO in place? Um, did she move and he found her? And thank goodness that these buildings now have cameras. I can remember a time when there were no cameras in these buildings. So just the ability for them to have cameras now, that's a huge step up. Um, so did she do anything to kind of get away from him, and how bad was this relationship? Did she share her fears with her family? There's so many unknowns to this story, and it's unfortunate she is no longer here. But we have to, as women, uh, when we are fearing for our safety because of someone who is not willing to move on and allow you to live, we have to trust somebody in our circle, change our routines and our habits. Try not to walk alone. There's so many things that we can do to just feel a little bit more safer. And because this man was never going to stop, that he wasn't going to stop, he wasn't going to take no for an answer. It didn't seem that he was done, just the what I've read, the little bit I've read so far, it seemed like his attitude was it's done when he says it's done, kind of thing. But um this is just so sad, and her children, the 2 young children now, to face the rest of their lives without their mom is just heartbreaking. And this was a vicious attack as well, from what I see. um but I hope that someone is learning learned something from this incident and is taking measures to protect themselves from someone who is supposed to be their partner and protect them and love them and is not and is abusing them. So I hope somebody also, so this story teaches somebody a lesson and they find ways to get away from their abuser.
Yeah, I think the hard part when you have uh, um, a person, when you meet somebody who is toxic, I think it's hard to sometimes get away from that. We have seen people that have restraining orders and unfortunately still, end up, being unalived. I don't quite know the answer. And here she is, she probably, because some of them don't show obvious signs that you think that they're literally going to take your life. Who would have thought that this man would wait in her stairwell and then ambush her and then just stab her that many times? Like, you're a sick person. How do you stop that? And I don't even know if somebody would have perhaps got there and saw him in the midst of this, they might have got stabbed up too. This is just a horrific situation. I don't know. I just don't know what to even say. I do wonder though, and maybe it'll come out later. I'm wondering perhaps, did he show some of these signs with some of the exes? Tay, your thoughts?
I said, Diva, I hope he could get a life sentence because, one, you took these 4 beautiful babies, their mother, away because you can't take the word said and to the right there.
Mm-hmm.
You can't take rejected. You should be a man about it and cry to your boo-hoo to your home right there. But no. You just wait for her for 2 minutes. Wait for her to come to home or out her building, which one is it? And then you ambush, and then you just stab her over and over and over again. It's like if I can't have you, nobody else can have you. That's why it reminds me of that story right there, Diva, about you stabbing people right there. And tell that, Diva, you know what I hope for, Diva? I hope she hugged him in his sleep while he's in jail. That's all, Diva.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much, Tay. Yeah, it's that type of mentality, right? If I can't have you, then nobody else will. But it's a shame because she had children. Now they said 2 of the children were older adults, but still that's their mom. And then I'm thinking the 2 other children were younger and still living with her. And what a shame. And imagine coming upon a scene like that. You're just cleaning the building and then you come upon her just bloodied up and just dying. Super sad and an evil way to go. Yeah, it's pure malice. Yeah, he's just evil. He's evil. And that's why I said these individuals, they should be put in the cell and not allowed to come out that cell for but 1 hour per day. Let me go ahead and go into this last story. I tried to find the actual TikTok video. I'll back into it once I go find it. But I'll try to back into it as we talk about it. Because I must have clicked out of it. So Texas mom screams in pain minutes before delivering a baby as hospital allegedly delays care. Asks her intake questions. A viral TikTok shared by a Texas mom shows her daughter in visible pain while waiting to be admitted at Mesquite Hospital. So a Texas mother's viral TikTok is sparking outrage after she shared footage of her daughter, Carrie Jones, in visible agony, awaiting to be admitted for labor at Dallas Regional Medical Center in Mesquite, Texas. The video posted by Jones' mother, Cash, has been viewed more than 23 million times. Can you imagine? Let me see if I at this, will it bring me to the video? It does. Okay, so hold on one second, guys. Let me stop this and I'll show you the actual video. 23 million times. Can you imagine?
Ma'am? Yes. Are you able to call the anesthesiologist? Someone is going to take you to labor and delivery. That's not what I asked. I cannot, no. Thank you.
Okay, wait, I think, let me see. There's another video. Let me go back to it. Here, let's do this one.
Here's your doctor.
Lang is her doctor. Y'all treat all your patients like this or just the Black ones?
Everyone's a personality patient for you. Last name is Jones. She's G3P2. I'm not sure when her due date is.
Her due date is the 10th.
Her due date is the 10th.
She had 3 pregnancies, 2 babies at home. I bet y'all listen next time.
Aw.
When you found out you was delivering at this hospital, your ass should have changed doctors. Everybody say how they treat people here.
Here's your doctor.
Lang is her doctor.
Woo, child. Now let me see. I think
Hello, TikTok family. This is a follow-up on the video that I posted earlier. So I was at work. I had no idea of the activity that was going on. My daughter's texting me, calling me. I didn't know what was going on. So finally I get home, they tell me about the video, and a lot of you was asking about a follow-up and to explain the situation. So this is the situation. My daughter went into active labor at home. We took her to the hospital. She called ahead of time, so we know they are expecting us. However, we get there to the emergency room. We watching nurses, putting gloves on, running to the door. They get outside of the door, and I drive a black SUV, and they look at my vehicle, and one of the nurses come up to the window, and she goes, I'm sorry, this is for ambulance only. I said, well, my daughter is in active labor. And she was like, okay. She said, but you're going to have to go to the front. I'm like, I have to drive to the front. And they said, yeah, you have to drive to the front. Okay, another redhead. And so I'm like, so she's you hear, and it was like, yeah, she started bagging up, hit the button, went back inside the building. So I go around to the front. I get out of the car. Again, this girl is in more pain now than she was when we first left the house. And she started saying, I feel pressure. I feel pressure. I said, take deep breaths. I ran in. I said, hey, my daughter's in the car. I went to emergency. They told me I had to come to the front. So the lady was like, what's your daughter's name? Tell her Kiara Jones. She gets out some paperwork, start typing in the name. I was like, ma'am, do you have a wheelchair or anything? She's in the car. I need to get her in. Oh, if you check on the other side of those doors where the vending machine's at, there should be a wheelchair out there. There's no wheelchair out there. So she gets up, she walks in the back, and she comes to the door with a wheelchair. She said, "Here you go, ma'am." I said, "Excuse me, you're not going to come with me?" And she was like, "No." Oh, okay. So a police officer was in the lobby. He gets up. He grabbed a wheelchair. He goes out the door with me. He said, "Come on, I got you." Went out there. She is on hands and knees in the back of the vehicle. And I'm like, "Oh shit, what is going on?" And then she goes, "It's in my ass." And I was like, "What?" And the guy was like, and she was like, he said, "Okay." She was like, "Give me a minute." She could not move. So when that contraction eased, we put her in a wheelchair. He said, "You can go park your car," because they again had, people out there. So I went park my car. It wasn't even 30 seconds. I run back in the building. She's just there with a stack of papers in her hand, screaming that this baby is coming. This baby is coming. I look at the registers behind the window, and they looking at me, and they was like, "Well, we can't do anything until she signed the papers." Are you fucking kidding me? So I grabbed the papers, and of course, it's they all they ER bullshit that they have, and I was like, "You want her to sign this, and she's in active labor." And they was like, "Okay." I was like, "Ma'am, she was supposed to be induced earlier today at 8 o'clock." And they called and told her that they will call her because they didn't have beds, and they will let her know. And no one ever called back. They called back every hour on an hour, and they was like, "No, we'll call you back." And then finally, her water break, she called them. They tell her to come in. So why is she signing these papers? We need her in labor and delivery. And it was like, "Ma'am, I'm sorry." So the charge nurse comes out, and she saw the paper signed. "What fucking, are you serious right now?" And she closes the door. And then the lady behind the window at this point, my daughter, scribbled her name on all the papers. We gave it to her. She says, "Thank you." She walked it around to the charge nurse. She opened up the door. My daughter is literally like having a contraction, and she's just standing there in the door. So we push her into the door. I said, "Can we get her into labor and delivery?" She said, "No, we have to fill out all this paperwork. I have to do the paperwork and get her a band before we can send her upstairs." So that was the video that you guys saw that I initially posted. So the next video that has no picture on it was when I was pushing her in, and we was at the window because they asked me to move her from the window so they can take care of the guests or, patients that was coming in and out. Do not go to this hospital. This hospital is ghetto as hell. They do not care about Black women or their babies. This is crazy. I read about stuff like this all the time, but to see this firsthand, this lady did not care. None of them. It wasn't until we got into labor and delivery where we saw an ounce of care or sympathy for her. Before then, they can care less. She did not care if she gave birth in that wheelchair. That was not her problem or her concern. Hello.
Oh, child, this is just a horrific thing. I'm trying to see. Of course, her daughter had the baby. I'll show you one more thing here.
Hey guys, I'm here with Mom and baby Cash. They are doing well. He has a doctor's appointment tomorrow at the pediatric center. It's a lot of concerns. They taking tests on him. He still have to go through several other tests down the line because He was born with his eyes open, and due to the stress and trauma that occurred in the triage area, the baby had a bowel movement in mom, and the fluids was green. And like I said, he born with his eyes open. So they are, taking all that in consideration as well. But he's eating well, sleeping well, looking good. And I was also reading a lot of the comments, and some of you under the impression it was twins. They are not twins. This is daughter with baby Cash, and this is other daughter with baby DJ. They are a month apart. DJ born 10/10 and KJ born 11/11. Thank you again for your support and your concerns, and we will most definitely keep you updated.
Ooh, child. Ooh, this a lot. Now, I'm gonna go back to the people who argue article for one moment, but I also want to say this. There's this sometimes we spread information that is not true. I saw some comments saying that, well, what if they would have gave you the wrong medication? They need this, they need that. It's all lies. So I had my son a month early. Okay. And when I went to the hospital, first of all, I called my doctor, right? And I was like, oh, I don't feel well, whatever. They was like, just go to the hospital for observation and I'll meet you there. He said, whatever, right? When I got there and they took my blood pressure, they was like, and the machine was that way and I was laying facing this way. And they took my blood pressure and my mother was with me. And I was like, I said, after this, we're going to go eat pancakes, whatever. My baby not due to August, right? So I had my son a month early. They took the blood pressure, and this was before they got an insurance card, this and who's that, and all of that, or whatever the case may be. So they took the blood pressure. My blood pressure was out of control. The woman was like, I'm going to take the blood pressure again. I said, what's wrong? What's going on? What's the matter? She said, no, don't worry. I'm just going to take the blood pressure again. Took that blood pressure again. She yells for a monitor so they can see what the baby is doing. And next thing I know, I was in the OR and they was cutting me open. And all they said is, who's your doctor? And the next thing I know, a tear was rolling down my eye in the OR. And that woman said, don't cry because today is your baby's birthday. Do you think when they pick somebody up off the side of the road and there's a car accident, they're like, what's your name, your insurance, and what are you allergic to? She should have been straight to L&D. Period. That hospital was trash. That woman was trash. She was sitting there screaming and yelling, and she didn't give a darn. Hold on one second. Let me share this. So I told you it was more than 23 million times. That was at the time of this article. In the quit, Jones is seen doubled over in a wheelchair as the nurse asks admission questions. Her mother wrote in the next overlay that the staff kept her daughter in the waiting area for more than 30 minutes. That is disgraceful. And that Jones' son was born just 12 minutes later. The delivery was awful, the overlay continued, while the caption accused a deathly charged nurse of choosing paperwork over life. And let me tell you something else we learned in the hospital is people over paperwork, period. At one point in the video, Jones screamed that the baby was in her behind, prompted her mother to ask the nurse, y'all treat all your patients like this or just the black ones? The footage showed Jones coming out of the wheelchair and attempting to turn herself over as it appeared to be actively giving birth. And another clip, Cash recorded from inside her purse and captured her daughter pushing and crying out in pain. Her mother asked, are y'all for real right now? Does she have to give birth in a chair? The nurse responded that she can't take her upstairs, leading Jones' mother to question why staff would take a chance of infections and having her baby in this chair. In an official statement from the Dallas Regional Medical Center spokesperson, they wrote, At Dallas Regional Medical Center, the safety, dignity, and well-being of our patients are always our highest priorities. We are committed to providing compassionate, high-quality care to every person who comes through our doors, and we are reviewing this situation to understand what occurred. Due to patient privacy laws, we cannot share further details at this time, but our focus remains on ensuring that every patient receives the attentive, respectful care they deserve. People have reached out to Cash and Carrie for a comment. In a video Cash posted 2 days after the baby was born, she claims Jones and the baby are undergoing a serious test that they are still waiting for the results on, as the baby was born with his eyes open. Due to the stress and the trauma that occurred in the triage area, the baby had a bowel movement in mom and the fluids was green, she continued. They are taking all that into consideration as well. But he's here, eating well, sleeping well, looking good. In a following video, Cash recounted what happened from the moment they arrived. She claims Jones called ahead and the family expected staff to be ready. But a nurse outside the emergency room told them, I'm sorry for this. I'm sorry, this is for the ambulance only, before directing them to the front entrance. Inside, Cash says she begged for a wheelchair after telling staff her daughter was in active labor. She alleged she was told to look for one by the vending machines before a receptionist eventually brought it out. And a police officer helped her get Jones from the car, where she found her daughter on her hands and knees crying, "It's in my behind." Cash said she returned inside moments later to find her daughter screaming that the baby was coming, while staff insisted they can't do anything until she signed the papers. Lies. She said she grabbed the stack herself, explaining, "You want her to sign this?" And she's in active labor before her daughter scribbled her name. She recorded the charge nurse opening the door as Jones had a contraction, claiming the nurse simply stood there. When the family tried to push Jones inside, she claimed they were told, "I have to do the paperwork and get her banned before we can send her upstairs." Cash said the lack of urgency left her stunned. "Do not go to this hospital," she said in a follow-up video. "They do not care about Black women or their babies," she claimed in the video, as commenters online called the experience an example of medical racism. "It wasn't until we got into the labor and delivery where we saw an ounce of care," she said, explaining that before then, they can care less. This is dreadful, shameful, embarrassing, with a hot stinking mess. In my opinion, your thoughts?
As a mother of 6, I've never seen a situation like this. Every last one of my pregnancies, I went straight to labor and delivery. I've never heard of nobody sitting and doing paperwork in the emergency room when you're in this much pain. The things that could have happened, that thank God they did not happen in this process. Thank God this baby was born with no problems. Lord have mercy. You have to be careful too what hospital you're picking when you're pregnant. Do your research. Do a walkthrough of the hospital that you're going to. Know what you are going to have to go through. I'm telling you, whenever it's something concerning your health or your child's health, you have to know the system that you're going to go through. This is a bad situation, and I'm praying that they don't do this to every woman that comes through this hospital, whether you're Black, white, Latino, whatever. I'm praying that they treat people with more respect than they did this little girl. Because this was a situation that could have went terribly, terribly wrong. That cord could have been wrapped around the baby. If that baby had ingested the poop that was in her, like all of this could have been incidents where this went terribly wrong and nobody knew nothing because they haven't hooked up to no machines, no nothing. They haven't even checked her blood pressure. They worried about paperwork. This is something you don't worry about when you're in active labor. The things that you worried about in active labor is the contractions. Where's the baby positioned? Heart rates. These are the things that they're looking at, not paperwork. They can do the paperwork when they get you strapped in and making sure that this baby is safe. But this right here is a catastrophe. So everybody that's in the North Dallas area where Mesquite is, please don't go to this hospital if this is how they treat y'all.
Thank you. Katrina, your thoughts?
Yeah, Diva. I have a story about this right now. This story right here. And I'm gonna let you know, it was my daughter. She was she was hurting real bad. She went to the hospital. They did a examination on her. Told her that she was only dilated 1 centimeter. Okay, she kept telling me, she was like, I'm hurting real bad. I'm like, you only 1 centimeter, you should be hurting that bad. What's going on? And so this was like in the mid morning, like getting ready for shift change. So when he was getting ready, the doctor was getting ready to release her. He was a military doctor. He was getting ready to release her. And I'm like, she hurting this bad. She don't need to go home right now. So when the next shift came on, my daughter was 7 centimeters dilated. So they moved her around there to the to the pre-op, pre-labor, whatever. And because he was under her rib, they had her on a ball trying to get the baby to come down. Now, mind you, she's already in pain this whole time. The baby was in distress. And what happened was, if this foreign doctor wasn't there, my grandson wouldn't be here. They was trying to get her to have regular labor. She went in, she saw the cord was around his neck. He was in distress. He had a BM in his bag. So when we got to the OR, they came in and told her, well, we got to do surgery now. We got to do it now. He was in NICU for 2.5 weeks. And by the grace of God, and y'all hear him all the time, he's here. But if it wasn't for this doctor doing what they were supposed to do, he wouldn't have been here. And for that person to sit down there and worry about paperwork, when that person came in that done hospital, they supposed to went to labor delivery right then and there. It ain't had nothing to do with paperwork. They do the paperwork upstairs once you get them there. You don't worry about paperwork when it comes to a child, to having a baby. You go straight up to labor and delivery. And then what happened after that, whoever the family members with them, they can give them the information. This hospital need to be sued. I mean, she need to own this hospital, because this baby could have went a whole different way. Because my grandson ingested some of that stuff. And so they had to get it out and all that type of stuff. And just seeing him in there with the little tubes and stuff on him, it was heartbreaking. And I'm glad this baby made it. And the baby that she had, that's a miracle baby. That baby gonna do some miracle things for her, because he's blessed to be here. He's here for a reason. He made it for a reason. These doctors and these people in these hospitals, they need to get away. If you don't have any morals, if you don't have any compassion, if you don't have any faith, you don't need to be working at no hospital. You don't darn sure don't need to be working no labor and delivery. And you darn sure don't need to be nowhere near people when you can't help them do exactly what they need to do. But I'm glad the baby made it. That's all I got, Diva.
Yeah, Tay, your thoughts?
To that nurse right there, one, you being ungrateful. Two, you being disrespectful. And three, you're unprofessional right there too. Hopefully they sue you. Hopefully the mother sue the hospital, and hopefully you lose your license for that right there, because you ain't got no sympathy for me at all. Because what you did right there, it's like Diva. She don't have no motion, no nothing, just empty. That's it. They tell me that I just can't get the girl, the one who was in labor. I can't get her scream out of my head. She was so much in pain, not once but twice. And her mama was right. Do you treat your patient like this too? Because you don't care about us. I'm thinking Michael Jackson's song said, all I say is they don't care about us, the black people. They really don't. Because they just see us still the enemy as usual. That's all I'm gonna say about that, Diva.
I appreciate you. Julius, your thoughts?
Not only do they not care about us because we got a little melanin in our skin, but also this speaks for the for profit that mostly these hospitals are switching to. If you do not if you do not if you are in active emergency, they rather you sit down there and ask a trillion questions before they even treat you. It is a shame. And both of my parents worked in the hospital for years. My dad recently retired. He was getting to the point where he would say, I need to retire now before I get arrested for the things that they're doing. And this lady was in active labor, active, in pain, cramping. What, she had to have bleeding running down her thigh for you to rush her? She took, she should have took, I don't understand it. She should have took priority. They should have had um medical personnel at the door. Get in her, telling her mom, look, go park your car. This where we gonna be at. This where you need to go. That's it. No questions asked. But no, what medications are you allergic to? So let me tell you, one time I brought my mom into the hospital. So while my mom was getting treated, I answered all those questions. That's how that situation should have went. Her mom had no problem answering the questions. She should have already been in labor and delivery, getting prepped to give birth. But no, they want to see your ID, your insurance cards, and all of that because they want their money scanned through first and then they give you care. I'm going to shut up because, yeah.
Thank you, Julie. Savannah, your thoughts?
So I'm glad that the mother was there with her,
Mm-hmm.
because who would have known what treatment she would have got if she was by herself. So and social media it can really break an organization. So I'm glad that this was shared, and it got, so I think even the mother was surprised of how many clicks and views that this video that showed reality. And we hear about it in just in our communities, but I've never seen anything like that, and that is just disgraceful. I can't. That woman wasn't even connected to her own profession. You're supposed to be caring, and immediately, as soon as a patient or someone in distress walks in, there should be some ounce of care and wellness. That's the profession that you chose to be in, and this woman was completely disconnected. So she should be embarrassed, and this the representation of that hospital or clinic that the young lady visited. So I hope that they end up getting some type of recompensation or something for this. But if anything, it should help change their procedures and how they treat women of color. Because I agree. I think this had a lot to do with race, and someone that just did not care. And that's disheartening, because I can imagine giving birth. Oh, that is so painful. And having to do it while you're being uncomfortable and with someone who was just not connecting. It is absolutely sad. So I'm glad the mom was there, not only to calm her daughter, but to oh,
I kind of lost you a little bit there, Savannah. You went dead, but you was making some very good points. But I'm not hearing you right now. Felicia, your thoughts?
Well, good evening, everyone. I think the opinion was spot on. When you're out here and you're looking to grow a family, you should really do some really good research, first off, on who your doctor is going to be. And if that doctor is going to be present during your delivery, or are they on a team of doctors, and how they operate and how they perceive the birth. Are they the kind of doctors that go in and just immediately want to do a cesarean, or do they allow you to do a natural childbirth? And then as importantly, then you look at what hospitals or centers, as this one is, which seems to have, I was reading up on it, they have a lovely labor and delivery unit, but their reviews aren't very good. So sometimes you have an awesome doctor, and if they're affiliated with a not so good place, I would say you still trust your doctor. But if your doctor's not so good, or you don't even know who the doctor is, like when you go in for your checkups, you get this doctor, then the next time you got somebody else, and the actual hospital or birthing center is not very good, I would recommend you go someplace else. In the case of this mother and her mom, God bless, mom was very calm and able to communicate, and was able to be of help and assistance to her daughter, because as some of us, when we've been in the labor, you can't even talk. You're doing hand signals and every damn thing else. You can't even focus on answering a question. And I'd also like to say that it may not have anything to do with it, but this was during the shutdown, yes? And so we know Medicare wasn't funded. So a lot of these places here that across the country that are funded by Medicare knew they weren't going to get paid either. So maybe that's why they kept asking her the insurance question. I don't know, but it may have had something to do with it. About the nurse, she knows she probably shouldn't be in that profession. Maybe she's been in it too long. Maybe it's time for her to go ahead and retire, and we wish her well. I'm done.
I appreciate you. Before I close out, Savannah, anything else you want to add? Because you made very good points, but you got cut off there at the end.
No, ma'am. I'm sorry. We're having a windstorm here, so power connection is iffy. But no, ma'am, I'm good.
All right, sounds good. Listen, in regards to this, go ahead. In my opinion, you want to say something?
First of all, I want to say thank you to you, because you come on here sometimes 7 nights a week. And we want to appreciate you because you did do it going through pain. And even after your surgery, you still came on. Nobody knew nothing was wrong with you. Of course, I did. But I'm thankful that you always here. You know, we appreciate you. And I
I
just
know.
want to know that if you haven't subscribed yet, we a family over here. We all speak behind the scenes, but we love coming on here and bringing y'all stories, whether they sad, happy. We got to get Diva to 100K. She deserves it so much, because not only is she doing it, she's working a job and taking care of her son. So I just wanted to give you your props.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all. Listen, thank you guys. I love y'all. Listen, let me tell you this. You right, I am 50 gold. It's an emergency and nothing else matters. That's the thing that this nurse missed in that hospital. And I know y'all appreciate me, and I appreciate y'all too. Thank you so much for being here. And listen, I'm going to stay connected to all of these stories, okay? I'm staying connected to, this pregnant mom story to see how this thing turns out. And you know what I appreciate about them too? She never was like yelling, we're going to sue, we're going to this, we're going to that. She was just like, this is a horrible hospital. Don't go here. And this was horrific, everything that happened, right? The mother that's life was taken by the ex. Too many times are we hearing too many stories about, the DV. And like that one woman said from the organization, is that DV is a crime, and we need to find a way to stop this. And the baby whose life was taken by the dad, the best I could say with that is, if a man tells you and you pregnant that he don't want you to have that baby, that's a clear sign that if you decide that you're going to have your baby, you got to not be in that person's life. And they don't need to see your baby. your baby at that point. Listen, guys, I appreciate y'all. Y'all know the routine. If you ain't hit that like button on the way in, hit the like button on the way out. Good night and goodbye, everybody. Choo choo.